do not know why this keeps turning off. Yeah, so I'll go through this again. Yeah, so this is Leetcode 380, insert, delete, and get random. And you need to do all of these in constant time, O of 1 speed. Making sure this thing's not turning off on me again. So yeah, so we are given some sort of random class that we're creating ourselves. So what I did was initialize a dictionary and an array. Dictionary should be the first thing you think about when you're thinking of kind of doing constant time lookups. And so I came up with this example. We can go through it again because my camera's turning off on me. So we have a dictionary. So let's say, and then we have an array here as well, right? So we're inserting 1. So what do? We add 1 here, or before we do that, we add it into our dictionary, and then our value is going to be our length of this array, which is at first length is 0, there's no elements inside. So we have 1 is key 1, value in 0, which is the index. And then we append it onto our array. And then let's say we want to add 5 into it. We do the same. Say 5 is equal to the length of the array, which is now 1. Let me add 5. That looks like it should be a 1. And then let's say we add a 3 is equal to the length of the array. Right? So that's a simple example. And then when we want to remove an element, let's say 5, we can't just delete that and delete this, because 3 would still be at index 2. So we would need to figure out a way to solve that problem, right? So I did the insert here. I went over it before. I'll briefly go over it again. So we need to go through self.dictionary of keys and make sure that it's not, or if it's not in the dictionary, then we can go ahead and insert it into our dictionary and into our array, and then we return true to represent that an operation did occur, or false otherwise. So delete, this is where I was. When we want to delete 5, what we want to do is keep track of the last item in our array and the index of the item we're trying to delete, which is here. So we can get that obviously by doing self.d of the value, which is 5, which would give us the dictionary value, which is 1. And then we need to keep track of our last value. So what we're trying to do here is update this to be this, delete this, and swap these two elements, and then delete our last element. Because that would give us new dictionary 0, 3, 1, and then an array would look like 1, 3. Right? So that's kind of what we're doing here. So value in self.d, because when we're removing, we need to make sure that it's in the dictionary. Constant time, last item is 3. So we do a delete on 5. Make sure it's recording. We say last item, which is 3. The value IDX is 1 for 5, right? Deleting 5. X is this. So now what we do is, like I said, we need to swap these things. And then we need to set, let's see. So we do self dot array of value IDX, which is 1, right? This. Yeah. And self.d of the last item, so we have self.array of idx, which is the 5, and then self.d of last item, which is 2, and we need to swap these. So this is going to be equal to the last item. So in Python, doing it in one line allows you to swap in place. Last item, and then val idx. So we'll go through that, right? So self.array value idx. Like I said, value idx was this. So it was 5. Is now equal to the last item, which is 3. Right, so we have 1, 3, and this is still going to be a 3, actually. So we're not actually swapping the first and the last. We're swapping the last into the first idx. And then the dictionary value of the last item, which is 3, is going to be equal to the index that was at 5, which is 1. So we're changing the dictionary to have the other elements. 1, 0. It still has 5, 1, but it has 3, 1, and 5, 1. Right? And then what we do here is we need to remove that last element. So self.array.pop. Right, so removing this element because it's not needed. And we need to delete that value that we were given. And we need to delete the item in the index in the dictionary. Self.d. Self.d.pop. And you can actually just pop value. So that gets rid of this. Right? And then you would return true. Signify that the operation occurred, false otherwise. Right? And the get random is actually super simple since you have the length of the array. This was kind of like, felt a little bit like a cop-out answer, but I think actually implementing your own random design without using libraries is pretty hard to do. Find random, self. You would use like the random library, and then you would just return self.array, index being random dot like randint 0 to the length of the array minus 1. Alright, so that would just return a random number from that array. And it's just choosing a random number between 0 and length of the array, so that would be constant time. So yeah, that is the solution. Thanks.